What is going on, Diablo 2 fans? Dobrunsky here, and today I'm coming at you with a huge video. I have a Blizzard official sneak peek of a brand new rune word that's going to be introduced in patch 2.4, and that rune word is Unbending Will. So I'm going to break down everything about this rune word, its cost, the attributes on it, as well as my overall thoughts. So I do hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, a quick reminder before we jump in, just want to let you guys know that if you do enjoy this YouTube content, I do stream twice a week on Twitch, so any follows on that platform would be very much appreciated. Got the link for my Twitch channel in the description below. That being said, guys, let's jump in. So this rune word, Unbending Will, is relatively cheap. Foul, Io, Ith, Eld, El, and Hell for a melee rune word that can only be rolled in swords, that's what I've been told, that grants you 330% enhanced damage. That is very solid. There's a lot of other rune words that have very low and high kind of ranging enhanced damage rolls. Oath and Death are great examples. If you roll close to the maximum, you can get a really good weapon. If you roll very low, very poor damage. So the fact that you can get 330 ED flat roll with a foul rune is pretty insane. Now, if you're going to compare it to other melee rune words, sort of like a sliding scale of budget to kind of mid to late endgame and then your final endgame setup, I think that Black and Steel are kind of like your introductory melee rune words. Oath and Death are kind of arguably just touching on that endgame setup. And then pretty much Grief, the unanimous best melee rune word, is your top endgame setup. Also, honorable mention goes to Breath of the Dying, although it's not used very often. I would kind of place Unbending Will somewhere in between Oath and Black. Foul rune, 330 ED. It does not have the indestructible mod, so you can't roll an ethereal weapon, but I am going to talk about some other interesting stats, and I do think it will be a interesting choice to use on an Act 5 mercenary. They have hinted at buffing those mercs, so if you can find an ethereal Colossus Blade, get 6 open sockets, roll this rune word, 330 ED in an Eth base is some pretty solid damage. So breaking down the rest of the stats on this rune word, the first very standout one is the 18% chance to cast level 18 taunt on striking. So for those that are typical with your standard barbarian setup, for the most part, the Warcry skill tree is usually 1 hard point into command, 1 hard point into shout, maxing battle orders, and then on some occasions you will put points into Warcry to stun mobs, or maybe Battle Cry. I typically don't go that route because it overrides the Decrep proc curse. But again, typically that's kind of your standard setup. If you're not really familiar with what the skill Taunt does, it actually actively attracts monsters towards you so they attack you, but at the same time it effectively reduces their percent damage as well as their percent attack rating. So that's a very interesting stat to add to a chance to cast on striking rune word. And with 18% chance, it is going to be proccing very frequently. So a lot of monsters are going to be attacking you, but they will have reduced attack rating, and they will also have lower percent damage output. Now, they did mention on the dev stream, they teased at Act 5 mercenaries using Battle Cry. So maybe the idea here is that they're attacking, drawing monsters towards them, then they cast their Battle Cry. The only thing is that these two curses are going to be constantly overriding each other. Not that that really matters. A lot of people really freak out at curses overriding each other. Like, I've used Reaper's Toll mercenaries with the Delirium Helmet rune word, and the Decrep does override the Confuse curse, but it's a smaller radius, so it's not always overriding the Confuse. I kind of feel like it's going to be the same thing here. Yes, they will override each other, but it won't happen too frequently on a mercenary. And I do also think that this will be cool to use on a Frenzy Barbarian. Even if you were to go Grief and then maybe use it on the offhand, Unbending Will, I do think that it's a little bit more suited towards a Frenzy Barb, or maybe Leap Attack, or Concentrate, or Berserk, as opposed to Whirlwind, because it does only have 20% increased attack speed. That's a little bit low for reaching the max Whirlwind breakpoint, so typically won't be used very often there, I think, but the chance to cast Taunt on Striking is very interesting regardless. The next stat is +3 to combat skills. This is really interesting, considering if you were to potentially dual wield these on a budget Frenzy Barbarian. That's going to give you, if you invest 1 hard point to unlock Frenzy, and then dual wield these two rune words, that's going to give you a total of +7 to Frenzy. So a lot of extra enhanced damage for only a foul rune invested. Very cool. And it does also have 20% increased attack speed. Again, I really think this is going to cater Frenzy Barbs, Leap Attack Barbs, Concentrate, or Berserk. I don't think it's an ideal candidate for Whirlwind, and that's typically, or excuse me, not typically, that is because the IS breakpoints on Whirlwind are only determined from the IS on the weapon. 20 IS is not enough to reach the max Whirlwind breakpoint, so it won't be too good for that one Barbarian, but I do think for all the other specs, with the exception of Throw Barb, it will be a pretty solid choice for a kind of mid-game budget setup. The real big standout role or attribute on this Rune Word though is the 330% flat enhanced damage. That's pretty crazy. A foul rune, flat 330 ED, that is super solid. Every other stat that I'm going to list off here is kind of just a nice, small, well thought out kind of additional stat to help a melee character. So 9 max damage, that's always going to help. 52 attack rating. Attack rating is important for melee builds. Extra enhanced damage and attack rating to the undead, that's important. Life stolen per hit. Every melee character needs a form of life leech and mana leech, so you have it on the weapon here. Prevent monster heal. It doesn't work on every monster, but it will help you. Additional strength, vitality, and damage reduced. Now, the only thing that stands out right away, or I should note, the negative 20% requirements, that is a nice kind of feature as well. The big standout here though, and there's kind of two schools of thought here, is this is a 6 open socket Rune Word. So the cons to that is it reduces the overall number of choices that you can use to roll this Rune Word in, because it is swords only. So for example, a Colossus Blade can roll a maximum of 6 open sockets. A Colossus Sword can't. It rolls a maximum of 5 open sockets. So this Rune Word will not work in swords. You're going to be restricted to using weapon bases like the Colossus Blade. So I wouldn't recommend a Phase Blade. That can roll 6 open sockets as well, but probably you're going to see this almost always rolled in a Colossus Blade. That is, I think, kind of cool because people don't really use that base very often, so that's kind of neat. But the plus side is that it's very easy to get 6 open sockets in a Rune Word base or weapon base that rolls a maximum of 6 open sockets. If you go to Larzik, you can get a guaranteed 6 open sockets every time. So anyone that's tried to roll a specific number of sockets that's not the maximum on a very desirable base knows kind of the pain that I'm talking to. Let's say you drop a 15 enhanced damage, 3 to attack rating Grand Matron Bow. If you go to Larzik, you can only get 5 open sockets. Faith is a 4 open socket Rune Word, so it's kind of a useless base. You kind of avoid that problem here using a weapon base that has a maximum of 6 open sockets for a 6 open socket Rune Word. So that is kind of the positives and negatives, I think, to having this be a 6 open socket Rune Word. Again, guys, let me know in the comment section below any kind of feedback if you guys think I missed anything. I do think I covered the majority of the talking points for Unbending Will. My kind of overall final conclusion thoughts, I think it's well thought out Rune Word for kind of placing that sort of a little bit past early game, but trying to bridge the gap to end game, so it's going to help melee builds a bit on playthroughs, which I think is super important. The chance to cast Taunt on Striking is going to be very interesting, especially potentially on an Act 5 Mercenary. I really hope, if anyone's watching this video from Blizzard, that they decided to add a Might Aura to an Act 5 Mercenary, because a Might Aura Act 5 Merc with an Ethereal Colossus Blade and Unbending Will is a lot of extra ED. Taunt on Striking, he will be casting Warcry, and he will have a Might Aura. They don't have auras. I think everyone's still going to revert back to the Act 2 Mercenary. Everything else is super solid. Like, again, just let me know any feedback. If you think I missed anything, just please let me know in the comments. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you could throw a like on it, share it, and even consider subscribing if you're new to my channel. Post new weekly content on YouTube, and I do stream twice a week on Twitch. So any follows on Twitch or subs on YouTube would be amazing. Other than that, guys, hope you have a fan-frickin-tastic day, and I'll catch you on my next video or live stream. Peace out.